When it comes to trading, just like a lot of things, simplicity is key. In under 10 minutes, I am going to show you a simple way to read and understand the Nasdaq chart. At the same time, doing our weekly analysis, we already know that we closed off pretty strong with Nasdaq breaking the highs once again. You know what I'm saying? And alongside the other indices, we have the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 at the same time, you know, going up to the top. And I think all of them are pretty due for a little bit of a pull down, in my own opinion. But you already know that we are always going to do what the market wants us to do, not what we personally want to do in the market, right? But before we do all of that good stuff, if you're new to the channel, welcome. We trade Nasdaq over here. If you're returning, welcome back. You know what's up. Don't forget to hit the like button, turn your post notifications, and subscribe to the channel, because when we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a little giveaway, funding 10 different accounts and giving 10 different subscribers free mentorship. And you really don't want to miss that. Now, I already know what y'all did in the previous video, and I've seen that a lot of people just came and went through the comments and just, you know, started writing the exact same phrase that everyone was doing. And you know what? Y'all made me a little bit smarter, right? So you want to see different answers in the comment section, so make sure you stay tuned for the question and don't skip any part of the video. Now let's get right into these charts and get this weekly analysis started. All right, so as you can see on our chart right over here, we are going to start talking about this losing trade that you are seeing that we had on Friday. You know, not really a losing trade because we only had the first take profit hit. As you can see, our second take profit was around about this zone, and obviously wanted it to drop down with us. As I was saying that, you know, the market has indeed gone up to the top. You know, it has been skyrocketing, right? On the daily time frame, you can see that Nasdaq has just been acting crazy, super excited, like from around about this zone. You know, when we first started YouTube, it was around about the 14,000 level, around about this zone here, and we've just been going up to the top. And ask me why I took a selling position right at this zone. Simple price action, looking at it right over here, you can see that we were having this zone right over there, which was the highest high. So technically all of these things had not yet happened. We were going to push down with the market to maybe, you know, close off this value gap right over here to around about this zone. And then that's what I was literally looking to see in the market. But you know, the market was like, no, that's not what we're looking for. And obviously we had our stop loss right about this zone, and yeah, somewhere here, and we didn't wait for it to hit our stop loss, because if you see the market already changing direction, right, you don't have to wait. If your setup is broken, don't wait for your stop loss to get hit. You know, instead of waiting for it to move up and hit my stop loss, I was just going to close off my trades. And this is how we ended up taking a $400 loss on Friday right over this. The explanation right over here. And also the fact that I had a trend line. I remember I did have a trend line, something like this. Right? Yeah, I did have something like this as a trend line, you know, that was broken out of, right? You can see right over here. So I had, you know, such a strong feeling that it's going to sell. It wasn't, you know, thinking as I was, right? And this is also going to just bring us to our weekly analysis over here. As you can see, kind of like wants to go and do a little retest over there, but we don't ever do a weekly analysis without first looking at, you know, what we have on news right over here. As you know, that last week was an absolutely, you know, beautiful week. We had CPI, FOMC, the producer price index. You know, we had like the market going crazy with us right over there. So we want to see what the market has in store for us for this week. As you can see, we do have, on Monday, we actually don't have news, right? So we don't have news on Monday, which is actually good for us because, you know, looking at this market right over here, if it opens with a gap at the top or with a gap at the bottom, and then we don't have news, and also the fact that Mondays are trap days, right? It means that we're going to have a really, you know, smooth week, right? So on Monday, we're going to be safe if that's the case, because we don't have any news. But I still don't like trading Mondays because Mondays are always going to be trap days, right? So we'll still find an entry, and then we have a holiday on Wednesday. So the market is going to be, you know, there's going to be bear movement in the market. So Monday, we probably won't trade. Wednesday, we probably won't trade because we won't have any volatility in the market. You know that we always want to trade when the market is volatile, right? And then it brings us to Thursday. Thursday, this is when we're going to see a bit of movement in the market, but this type of news doesn't really move the market like that. And then obviously Friday, we'll still, you know, play around from 4:30 till 6 o'clock. This decent week if you ask me, right? Nothing too crazy. But then let's just now look at our Nasdaq right over here. So we should start by deleting all of these things, and the analysis is going to be simple as usual. But you can see that we already have broken the highs. Right now we're currently sitting at the highest zone on Nasdaq right over here, and you already know that if it was somewhere here, we would be looking for this market to break out of this zone and then going for our buying positions. And it already shows us that we're kind of late for our buying positions, because, oh yeah, this is a 30-minute time, nothing too crazy. But then, you don't know how the market is going to open right over here. But then if it was me, I would have gone in for these buys on Friday, but I was already in a selling trade, right? So that's what we are saying right now. You can see it has broken the highs. It's currently at the highest point. So here, obviously, we don't know where it's going to end, right? We don't know where the market is going to take us, which makes it really tricky for us to trade something like this with, we don't know where to place our take profit unless we are using the Fibonacci extension level, right? But then I don't like using the Fibonacci in these cases, right? So we will wait for the market to retrace a little bit. It'll probably push up a little bit, and then, it's only a trade for risk takers, right? To just open the market on Monday as it opens and just go in for the buys right over here. Risk takers are the only people that can do something like this, and then probably ride it up to the top if it moves to the top, or everyone else will wait for the little retracement as it comes to this zone. And then, if it breaks down to around about this zone and comes back around about here, you already know that this now already looks like a liquidity zone, right? Look at this. If the market plays around and comes back to this zone, right, you can see the market has hit once, twice, the third time, and this will be the fourth time, right? And if you keep hitting on a brick, with a hammer a couple of times, it's going to get weak, and then there's a high chance that it is going to break, right? So that being said, we already know that this point will probably become a weak zone if the market comes up to this zone. But if it doesn't breaks out and plays around, forms a new session right over here, this is where we'll be using this as a referral point, as a, support that was broken and turned into a resistance level right over here. Go to our daily time frame, right? On the daily time frame, the only point I am seeing as a point of interest for Nasdaq is going to be this zone right over here, right? So you see we have this little zone that it might come back to and, play around. So this is only valid if the market actually, breaks out of this zone. And then now we want to see what is this zone that I marked right over there. Okay, so obviously we will still have to draw our trend line just for guidance, but then in this case it's kind of far away, so we'll probably not even use it a lot, but just for guidance we'll just have it right over there like that. And yeah, you can see nothing too crazy. So we are saying if the market comes, let's just make this a little bigger so that it makes sense to everyone. So we are just saying these are our zones, right? If the market fails to break out of this zone, that's the first thing, right? Though it has already broken out, but then we want to see how it opens. If it opens whilst it's outside of here, then the buys are really good. If it opens inside of the zone, we want to see, a rejection and then probable rejection at this zone. So if it doesn't break out of this zone, right, we obviously know that we'll still go in for our buys. But if it breaks out of this zone, then we're already trying to ride this thing down to the bottom. And also never forget that we have a major trend right at this zone, right? But then even if you have a major trend, you're always going to have trends within the trends, right? So you shouldn't ever forget these trends right over here on the 4-hour time frame, right? These are the ones that will guide you and help you to know where you are supposed to take your profits and, exit some positions if you have to exit, or hold some positions if you have to hold, right? So this is what we are saying. So if it opens with up here, if it opens breaking out of these zones, obviously we'll go in for the buys. But then if it comes back down, we want to wait for it to reject here, good price action, and then we'll still go for it for the buys if it rejects here with good price action. But if it breaks this trend line, obviously we're just going to dive it down right to the bottom, and then there's a higher chance that it will now want to play around with a lot of people at this zone because it's already like at the highest of highs, right? So just like our usual, setups, nothing too complicated, nothing too crazy. This buy is going to look really crazy if it actually just closes out of the zone and then, plays around at that particular zone.